Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, I just listened to an interview. It's a podcast. Shout out to On the Ropes Boxing Radio. Link in the description. They have an exclusive interview and podcast with Abel Sanchez, trainer of Gennady Golovkin. And he said a variety of different things. I want to talk specifically about what he said regarding a possibility of a Daniel Jacobs rematch. And the question was simple. Do you see Gennady Golovkin having a rematch with Daniel Jacobs in the future? Abel Sanchez says, and I quote, "The future is kind of mapped out in the near future at the moment. If it does happen, maybe it's 3 or 4 fights away. Gennady is fighting in September against somebody. And if it's Canelo, then it will be Canelo. Then after that, it will be his 20th defense. Will he stay and do a 21st defense to break Bernard Hopkins' record? I don't know if he stays at 160 or if he moves up to 168 before the end of the year or the beginning of next year. The guy who has been talking about fighting him is Zurdo Ramirez. So there are possibilities there. The next 3 or 4 fights are really scheduled already or tentatively scheduled. A Jacobs fight would be 5 or 6 fights down the road." Again, for more, shout out to On the Ropes Boxing Radio and their podcast. Link in the description. I want to give my thoughts, my 2 cents. And to me, it's really amazing that certain fighters seem to be protected in the sense of the fans. If there's a close, disputed, controversial fight for other fighters, then the only way that they can even try to redeem themselves is by an immediate rematch, and they must be hasty. For example, Andre Ward had a fight where some people thought he did not win. I had him winning. I talked to Eddie Hearn post-fight, had him winning. Paulie Malignaggi had him winning, and a slew of other people had Ward winning. However, it was a close fight. Some people like what Kovalev was doing better, and I don't dispute that. The only thing I dispute is people that say, oh, it's a robbery, it's a close fight. Kovalev is doing interviews right now at the press tour in Los Angeles and talking about the rematch, and he's admitting that he gassed out and he had nothing in the tank in the 5th round, which is exactly, if you go listen to my post-fight that I did when I was there, I covered that fight live November 19th. That's what I said. I said Ward took over in the second half. Kovalev looks gassed out. So for the people crying robbery, Kovalev is not doing a good job of supporting the people who are siding with Kovalev and saying he won and it was a robbery, because he's telling you what I've been telling you, is that he did not look the same in the second half. He was still game, still trying, still has power, still dangerous, but Ward took over, raking him to the body. Kovalev slowed down. It is what it is. And Ward stood up to the bully. But nonetheless, some people thought Ward didn't win that fight. Fine. Ward, within 4.5 months, already has a press tour, which is done. He's free to go into training camp. Kovalev's free to go to his training camp. And he has a rematch with the date, right? Meanwhile, Golovkin had a very similar fight. A fight where some people said he won just because of a knockdown, right? But some people thought Daniel Jacobs, even with the knockdown, beat Gennady Golovkin. And here you have his trainer saying, we're not looking to even fight him anytime soon. Our career is mapped out, right? And it's just funny to me how that is how the game goes. You know what I mean? Certain fighters, they can do that. Floyd Mayweather, people said, oh, you didn't beat Castillo. You're a cheater. And to this day, even though that fight's 12, 14 years old, people bring that up. Mayweather shouldn't be undefeated. He lost to Castillo. Not mentioning that Mayweather, within 8 months, rematched Castillo and beat him easier. Castillo had a chance at redemption to clear the air and be like, yeah, see, I was the rightful winner. And he came up short. But Floyd did that. Same thing with Maidana. Some people said, oh, Maidana beat your ass, Floyd. Maidana, it was a draw. Some people had Floyd winning. Floyd said, okay, I'm going to rematch him. So from May to September, he rematched Maidana, beat him easier. He had one scare, I think, at the end of round 3. Maidana caught him with the nasty, I think he caught him over the jab or something. It was a nasty punch. They said it knocked out his fake tooth. But the point being is Floyd showed you, like, okay, these are the adjustments. I'll clean that up. if you guys feel it was a draw, and make this easy paycheck, right? And he did that. Meanwhile, Gennady Golovkin, he's free to go on and move up in weight or fight Canelo, fight Billy Joe Saunders, and his trainer's saying the career path is already mapped out, and there's no avenging of that or no clear the air. It's just full steam ahead. And it's crazy to me how that works with certain fighters, right? Chocolatito, for example, he was on the card. I had him winning, for the record, and I told you that immediately after the fight. I was in New York. I had a full view of it, a good view, and I had Roman Gonzalez winning. Him moving up, he has not looked the same. His power doesn't look like it carried the same. Guys could take his power. It was a fun fight. It was a close fight. Rungvisai was definitely tough as hell. I think Rungvisai's power was more impactful than Roman Chocolatito, hence the knockdown. But I still had Chocolatito winning. I like his heart. I like how he started letting some combinations go and trying to create some angles and bite down, even though he was bleeding and stuff. So me personally, I had Chocolatito winning. However, notice how he wants an immediate rematch because he wants to clear that up because his perfect record is now blemished. But Estrada has been pushing and even came up to the new weight division he's at now and wants a rematch, and they had a close first fight. He doesn't get a rematch, right? Carlos Cuadras, who was on the undercard, he wants to rematch Chocolatito. He was the champion and he lost his belt to Chocolatito, his first fight, Chocolatito's first fight at the division 115, and there's no immediate rematch there. But the first time Roman loses, then he pushes for an immediate rematch, and he might get it with the WBC. So it's just funny how it works with certain fighters. Like the guy you want to rematch that you in a lot of the world feel you really beat, you can pull your strings or whatever to rematch him immediately. You know what I'm saying? And then the guys who some believe may have beaten you, Cuadras or even the Estrada, then they don't get an immediate rematch. They just got to wait and keep chasing you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy how the game works. You know what I mean? I understand Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin, or excuse me, yeah, Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. It's a fight we all want to see. I want to see it, but we don't know what's going to happen in the Chavez Jr. fight, and it's dampened the fight a little bit because of that, because of the fact that Golovkin stepped up to a guy that most people thought was a massive underdog, was going to get knocked out, gave you a tough fight, and you're just free to sweep that under the rug like it never happened. And meanwhile, the people who get called cowards and runners and chickens, i.e. Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, or whoever. I mean, hell, even Broner gets a lot of slack, but people don't tell you this. After the Maidana loss, people always talk about, oh, Maidana thrashed him, which is true, right? But people don't talk about how Broner was chasing Maidana and called him out several times and wanted that get back and wanted that rematch. And Maidana never really responded and ended up fighting Floyd and then retiring. You know what I'm saying? And Chino is one of my favorite, but facts are facts. Broner was chasing that rematch, for the record. You guys can Google it and listen to all the call outs. Now I don't know how much effort was put into his team or whatever to contact Chino, but he was definitely making it a public issue. So to me, it's unfortunate. I think that Daniel Jacobs versus Golovkin was a great first fight, and even if you had Golovkin winning, you can't deny that it was a close affair. And you know what I mean, now all of a sudden there's more talk about, like, some of the players from 168 that have called out Golovkin have left. Andre Ward, he moved up to light heavyweight. He's rematching Kovalev. He just made it clear at the press tour, I'm not going to 168 for Gennady Golovkin or anybody else. This is my weight class now. Deal with it. They had their opportunity. So unless Golovkin comes to 75, it doesn't look like we'll get that. Same thing with Badou Jack. He's like, man, my body's rejecting it. Immediately after he fought James DeGale, and I was about to say beat because I thought Badou Jack beat James DeGale, but after his draw with Badou Jack, with James DeGale, Badou said, I'm moving up. You know what I mean? So he's no longer there. So now why is there all this talk about it? Carl Froch is gone. Ward's gone. Badou Jack's gone. I mean, it's still good fights. Zurdo Ramirez, I would like to see that. I think James DeGale is a good fight. But why didn't you think about moving up to 168 when Ward was there? When Badou Jack was there, who Floyd Mayweather definitely called out for Badou Jack, and Badou Jack was down. So it's just kind of funny to me. Now, again, everyone wants to see Canelo Triple G. I get that, but I'm definitely down for a rematch with Daniel Jacobs. And to say it's like it's 5 or 6 fights down the road, that's crazy. It's because, again, other people are held to a much different standard. Like, let's say if Daniel Jacobs lifted the super WBA belt from Golovkin, do you think Golovkin would have to wait 5 or 6 fights to rematch Daniel Jacobs? Probably not. I mean, I don't know if they didn't have a rematch clause. So do you honestly believe that if Golovkin lost a majority decision to Jacobs, that he would have to chase Jacobs for 5 or 6 fights, and Jacobs would have 5 or 6 fights in between? So I don't really like that talk. I'm all about immediate rematches. I think a great example of this, aside from Ward Kovalev, would be the Castillo-Mayweather fight. I talked about that. But another recent one is Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz 2. Some people have Frampton winning. I did. Some people had Carl Frampton losing to Leo Santa Cruz. But nonetheless, they handled business this January, and they split the first fight. So we may get a situation like that if Triple G were to rematch Jacobs. Maybe it's like a Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, where they're 1-1. You know what I mean? Maybe Golovkin beats him easier. Maybe Daniel Jacobs beats him. We don't know, because we have to wait 5 or 6 fights now. So I'm definitely a fan of immediate rematches, and it's just crazy how certain fighters can just move on like nothing happened in lieu of a tough fight that is disputed. There are a lot of people that thought Daniel Jacobs won the fight. You know what I mean? And a lot of people tried to relegate it to a certain crowd, or, oh, everyone knows that Golovkin won. If everyone knows, then why is there a dispute? Why are there public figures in boxing who are saying Daniel Jacobs won, including Daniel Jacobs himself? Right? Me, I have 70,000 subscribers, and I genuinely think Daniel Jacobs won. It was a close fight. There's some things he could have sharpened up on, but I still had him winning, and I was there live, right? And it's not just me, but people will say, oh, no, it's Golovkin clearly won. If it was so clear, then there wouldn't be anybody disputing it. Like, look at Mayweather versus Canelo. Aside from CJ Ross, who is honestly saying that Canelo won the fight? You know what I'm saying? None. So obviously it wasn't that clean of a victory for either, if it's a tug-of-war battle in terms of who won the particular fight. So we'll see what Golovkin does next. The other thing that's a little bit hypocritical from Team Golovkin is that they said they did an interview with KO Artist Sports, link in the description. They said they weren't going to wait around for Canelo. We're not really looking for him. Billy Joe Saunders is the #1 priority. Now the person that didn't hurt, that's what the fans are saying. The fans say Daniel Jacobs didn't hurt Golovkin. Now he's saying, him and his team are saying that he's going to sit out from the Billy Joe Saunders unification, which would give him a chance at all the belts at middleweight, which is Team Golovkin's #1 goal, they said. Now they're going to sit out, skip Billy Joe Saunders. He's going crazy wearing Golovkin is a pussy shirts, and I got my pin, and he's calling out Golovkin, trying to make up for lost time when people were saying he was ducking, which he clearly looked like he was ducking Golovkin last year. Right now he's trying to get some revenge, and now Team Golovkin is saying they're too sore from the Jacobs fight to fight so soon and have such a quick turnaround. You know what I mean? So the fact that Golovkin is so sore lets you know that the Daniel Jacobs fight was at least close and a hard-fought win. You know what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't be so sore. Like, Golovkin typically fights 3 to 4 times a year, and I've never heard him complain or anything about being sore, but now all of a sudden he's sore. So that just puts new light on the fact of how clutch and in the trenches Jacobs' performance was. You know what I mean? But let me know what you guys think. Link in the description. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.